What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Hopefully we are going to be fixing my misfire today. We have 8 brand new Reman, already forgot the brand. We have 8 Reman GB manufacturing direct injection injectors going to go into it because just replacing the one like I thought would work didn't work, and I heard from multiple people that just because you replace one, it's not going to fix the misfire. So we're going to replace all 8 today at the same time with all fresh injectors, remans, and see if it runs any better. And while we have the intake manifold off, we're going to slap that brand new Boss 302 intake on that you guys are going to see a little bit later in the video, but it is a sick intake. I cannot wait to have that on the truck. Shout out to Seth for surprising me with getting that thing painted because it is baller. Finally got a warm weather day here in West Virginia. So I'm in a t-shirt for the first time in months, which feels weird. But without talking for too long and letting you guys lose interest, let me get out here and open the truck up and show you guys exactly what we're doing. So there is no actual good YouTube video that shows you exactly what you need to do this swap. So what I've done is for the past couple of weeks, I've just searched forums and talked to a few friends that have done it and kind of compiled all their information into one video here that hopefully helps all of you guys out who are wanting to do this swap and a little bit sketched out about it into a video that lets you feel confident about it, that you can do it in your own garage, because you really can. It's not hard. So what we're going to get into today is, first things first, we're going to remove the entire intake all the way into the throttle body. Now, since I'm doing the injectors when I do this, there's going to be a little bit more into this video than just the intake swap, but you'll see all that. I'm going to make it easier on myself by pulling off this throttle body and throttle body spacer, just to give myself an extra, say 12 inches, that looks like, of room on the front of that intake to kind of wiggle it up out of there. Then we're going to take my catch can off just to get these 2 hoses out of the way. I am going to trim these 2 hoses shorter today, and when the new intake goes back on, we're going to take this hose right here, that little silver one off the tip of my finger. We're going to take it off, and I'm going to run a second catch can on the clean side of the engine, just to kind of have that extra security that nothing goes through that new intake, oil film wise. Once we get the intake, throttle body, and catch can off, I'm going to start by pulling my vacuum lines and everything off. These vacuum lines up here, get all this unhooked. You have a purge solenoid right there where the green is. That's your purge solenoid. It comes off right there at the white. You can see that connection's already a little bit snapped from me getting aggressive with it earlier. But you're going to unplug that from the back, that electrical connection there that you see on the left, and pull that all the way out of the truck. You undo that green one, obviously, but you take that all the way out. And then as for these vacuum lines here, this whole mess here, you just fold these up out of the way and just kind of zip tie them somewhere over there so that they stay. Then we will take injectors loose, all the injector connections, pop that connection off for fuel, pop that connection off for return, and then undo all my upper fuel rail. Once the upper fuel rail is done, we'll reach back, undo all the connections on the back of the intake, and then undo all the 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter, something bolts that are holding the intake on. You can see one hanging out right there. We're going to undo all those, and intake should come right out. And I'll update you guys slowly as we go through more in-depth and with what size everything is to help you all out. So let's get into it. If you bend your vacuum lines around just the right way, your hood strut will hold it up perfectly out of your way. Intake is off, throttle body is off. This vacuum hose here goes to your purge solenoid. I'll show you that in a second. And I figured out if your catch can lines are as long as mine is, they'll just hold right there in your Cervini's hole. So perfect. I'll show you that purge canister, and then we'll get to what's going on with the next few steps. Raw chia. This is your purge canister. At least I'm pretty sure that's what that is. It's got another one of those green clippies you saw right here, and then it's got an electrical connection right here. When you put this back in the truck, after doing your Boss 302 install, these are going to connect back like normal, as far as I know right now. This might change later in the video, but as far as I'm thinking right now, these will connect back as normal, and this hose here will have to come off, and it'll just pop off from a little tit in here, a little barb, and should look something like this. And you'll have to run a rubber hose to a different location on the Boss intake. But here is throttle body. Really actually pretty clean in there. Throttle body spacer on there. Intake looks dirty. I'll probably wash that out before I put it back. And just other simple stuff like recirc hose, stuff like that. Grenade, you know. But now what we're going to get back into is wrapping this up with a microfiber and popping this fuel line off. You need your a special disconnector to go in there, like two of the little half moon things. They'll slide in there, push that off. It's going to dump fuel. Don't be scared. It's going to dump a little bit of fuel. Same with this side. Wrap that up in a microfiber. Pop that sucker off. Leave it hang down here somewhere. It's going to dump a little bit of fuel. It is what it is. Then, fuel pressure sensor for the upper rail right here. Undo that. Undo all these connections here for your fuel injectors, your upper fuel injectors if you have a 2018 to 20. And then we're going to dive back in that hole there and undo all the electrical connections that we can touch. That's pretty much how it gets done. So I'll hit you guys up as soon as we get that done. So your PFI injectors, your upper injectors, will take these 4 long bolts that I'm just going to sit here to bounce on the concrete and then end up way down there. Got all the injectors unplugged. Man, we're moving fast today. I shouldn't have said that. Got all the injectors unplugged, as you can see. Fuel rails are off. That one's folded back up under my electronic harness because you really want to mix your gas and electronics. Same with this side. That's my return, and that's a ground strap, so we're a-okay. I think I have all electrical connections from the rear unhooked, other than the 1 or 2 that you have to like snake your hand under the intake once it's popped up and clip them loose from the bottom, but we'll find out. If not, I'll hook a chain to it and drag it out of there. But I guess those suck so much it's perfectly acceptable to crash out on anyone within a 10-mile radius when you're trying to reach your hand back there, because it just cuts you up so bad. But these injectors should just pop right out like so. And see if I can do this one-handed without dumping fuel all over the place. Nope, here we go. Oh, right on the grill and the powder coat. That's acceptable by EPA standards, right in the gravel. We're going to take this into the garage, clean it up a little bit, and get these injectors ready to go into the new intake, because all of these injectors are actually good. So now you have your 6 bolts, 3 on each side, 1, 2, and then right there's 3. Same on this side here, all the way back there in the corner, right there, and then right under. 6 bolts undone. You should be able to lift your intake. Now, it's going to take me both hands to do this, so it's going to suck that I can't show you guys exactly how much of a pain it is to finagle this thing up out of here, but you got to move it until whatever wires you have forgotten back there catches tension. Reach your hand under the intake back, and then try to pinch and pull whichever way they want to go and you think they want to go. So this takes just a few seconds to do. I'll be right back. Here's the full intake off the truck. You can see all this junk that's on the back for your IMRCs that is not on the Boss manifold. So you're saving that much off of that intake. Went ahead, got curious, and pulled my map sensor out, and it is surprisingly oily and a little bit crusty inside. That definitely wasn't helping me any, but no worries. We have a brand new map sensor already RTV'd into the back of the Boss intake. I'm just going to clean this one up and stick it up there in my toolbox as a spare, and list this intake on Marketplace, because this is actually a really good intake still. There is nothing wrong with this intake at all. I verified my IMRCs still work. You can see here, well, I can't do it with one hand. Yeah, I can. Oh, I think I just lost it. I don't know if you can really see in there, but there are flaps, and when you actuate your intake runner, those flaps all move as they should on both sides. So everything's still good with this intake. Yeah, told you it was a pain, but everything's still good with that intake. Let's get back out here to the truck and see what we're doing. So if you are just putting the Boss intake on your truck, you can skip all of this. This is just intake, or just injectors for a few minutes here. You can skip to the part where I'll start showing off the Boss intake here in a few minutes. Anyways, you're going to unplug your injector harnesses for your lower direct injection injectors. So this side here, white with white, black with black. For your white side, this is your first side. So you'll have a line coming in here that feeds everything all the way down your rail, and then you'll have a crossover up here that's going to cross over to your scat pack side, and you'll have it feed all the way down, feed all 4 injectors, and then you'll have a fuel pressure sensor right there. That's going to need unplugged also, so it's kind of down on the bottom. You may or may not need to unplug this vacuum line from the back of your intake. I didn't. I don't know what that's for. Might be for something on the higher trim model trucks, but base model. But that gets capped. That gets blocked off, vacuum plugged, whatever you want to call it. Just stop airflow to that. So we're going to pull these 10 millimeter bolts out of here. 1, 2, 3, 4 10 millimeters. Same on the other side. You're going to take an adjustable wrench, take this connection off. This stays in the truck. Take this connection loose, take that connection loose, and then take that crossover out, because it's easier just to pop it out and then take them out in 2 sides. At least I've found. And then just kind of wiggle and pop these up out of here. Sometimes the injectors will stay in the block. Sometimes the injectors will come with the head. Sometimes the injectors will come with the rail. You have like a 50-50 shot. If not, take a small screwdriver and just kind of pry and pop that injector up out of there. You don't want to hurt anything, but just get that injector up out of there, whatever way you can do safely. So let's get after it and get these injectors up out of here and get new ones in it. I think I got it into kind of my 4 stages of grief here right now that I'm dealing with. So as you can see, only 1 injector came with the rail. The rest of them decided they wanted to stay in the block, and I had to kind of wrestle them up out of there, which, due to these being out of the block previously, wasn't that hard. Ooh, I got gas in that. Oh my god, that hurts. Anyways, so they came out looking like this, which isn't good. This is actually the new injector I just put in, and even that's looking a little bit gummed up. So I think what happened was I just stuck an injector in it to kind of throw a part of the problem, and I didn't actually clean the rail out, because if you look down in that rail, you're not going to be able to see it. It is filthy inside that rail. Now, they're supposed to look like this. You're supposed to have a plastic kind of clip, your O-ring, and then your retaining clip. These 3 parts right here. So what I'm having to do is go through each of these little buckets with a pick and wrestle those parts up out of there. And then I'm going to have to go in with a Q-tip and make sure all of these are super clean. I'm going to spray some alcohol in through here and flush whatever's in that rail out. Hopefully then that will be a nice clean fuel rail ready to go back in the truck. I will also wanted to show you these harness clips right here, these injector clips that go actually to the injector. suck to take loose. It is so much easier to be careful and take a pair of pliers and just pinch it right there on the tab and squeeze the tab and just pull back until it comes off, because they have to be almost touching to come off. They have such a big barb on the bottom of them that you're not going to be able to squeeze that comfortably with your hand. I mean, some of you will. You got incredible hand strength, but not for me. I'll use the pliers. Way easier. But I'm going to get this fuel rail stuck back together. The other one is still in the truck. So let me get this fuel rail stuck back together and then go drop it in the truck. And then we'll yank the other fuel rail out and see what it looks like. And we're back on our way to the truck with 4 brand new GB remanufacturing injectors. So I've heard good things about these. I've heard guys making over 800 horse on them, so they should be pretty reputable. We're going to stick this side in here and then stick that side, or pull that side out. So I got the other rail out, but cylinder 5 towards the front. Cylinder 5 injector is ADHD just smacked me in the face. Where's my pry bar? Cylinder 5 injector is stuck. So, mini pry bar time. We'll take this, kind of put it under the snap rings, O-rings, seal rings, whatever you want to call them at the bottom, and pop that injector up out of there. I'll be with you in a second. You guys are my witness if this doesn't work, because Ford says this is what you're supposed to do. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's moving now. I'm gonna get some pliers and pull on it while I do that. And we're back with the second fuel rail. Now, these have never been out of the truck. I haven't wiped them off, cleaned them whatsoever. The last rail was out of the truck when I replaced injector number 4 on the other side. And I wiped the other injector tips off, kind of brushed them with a bristle brush. But this is what these injectors look like. And this one here was the one that got stuck. That's injector number 5. You can tell she was in there pretty good. 140,000, however many miles on that truck. Was not good on these injectors running the extremely corrosive fuel recently like I was. So we're going to save these, keep them in as good as condition as possible, because I am going to send them back as cores and get a little bit of money out of them. But let's pop this rail all apart, spray some cleaner through it. I'm probably going to pop this fuel pressure sensor out and clean it also. I'm hoping I can get by with just cleaning it. But usually when these fail, it's an internal failure. So we can clean, worst case scenario, it has like dirt in it and it's clogging it up or something. But, you know, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. But I'll pop that out and see what the issue is. And get this rail put back in the truck and start showing you guys that new Boss intake. Everything is back together as one. Got our crossover line back together. Fuel rails back in it with the new injectors in them. New connection up there, or not new connection, but tighten back up. That's map sensor. That right there behind it, the white, is the connection for passenger side fuel rail. That black connection right there is driver side fuel rail. Got our fuel pressure sensor plugged back in, and we are ready to go get the Boss intake and set it on this. I am not putting the isolators back in. They're just a foam block that does absolutely nothing but look stupid in there. You're not even going to see it anyways, so why not save 0.00002 ounces or whatever those things weigh and not put them back in? Race truck. I'm going to yank that rag out of there and go grab the new intake and start putting the fuel rails on it. But before you guys jump me about not blocking off those ports, who's going to put anything in there? I'm working around people that know what they're doing with vehicles. I know what I'm doing with the vehicle. It's a calm day. There's no wind. So before you worry about anything getting in this engine, I'm not worried about anything getting in that engine. So let's go get an intake. So here is the Boss 302 intake. Once again, shout out to Seth, dude. Him and his paint guy kind of collabed on this thing and knocked it out of the frickin' park. The green matches perfectly. Like, I am so pumped to have this under the Coyote. It's just gonna look so good. Anyways, drilled my hole earlier this week. I'll put those clips in here now. What is up? If you're watching this video, you've actually just time traveled back to Wednesday morning. It is freezing cold out. Supposed to be warmer Friday when I'm doing this. You will have already known if it is or not. But I have the Boss intake here in the garage. I will already do the reveal for this earlier in the video. So you've done seen it. But we have to, let me flip you around here and show you what we got to do. So the intakes on these trucks is a MAP sensor. It's not a MAF sensor. M-A-P, not M-A-F. And that goes right here in the back. Here's my brand new sensor, direct from Ford. It's got a little O-ring on it and a little bolt hole from where it bolts into your stock intake. But as you can see, the Boss 302 is meant for a MAF MAF sensor. So we have to drill a hole in that and get rid of this rib right here. And I know what you guys are thinking. There's already no hole in there. There's no way I'm going to be able to get this to seal. And I'm just going to do it quick and dirty and pop a hole in with a Glock. I'm not that stupid. I'm pretty dumb, but I'm not that stupid. I have my Dremel here. Oh, maybe I can get it out of there. I've got my Dremel here. And we're just going to take a sanding disc and sand that rib down. And then, wow, there is grease everywhere in this garage. My girlfriend blew up an axle. Anyways, sand that rib down and pop a hole in it with a small drill bit and just slowly upsize it until we get a tight fit on that sensor. And then I have somewhere. Man, it's been a while since I filmed a YouTube video. Some black RTV adhesive that we're going to slap around there and make sure that she does not leak. I do not get no vacuum leaks whatsoever because this is on the back of the intake, and these things they're not hard. They're just a pain to pull off. They kind of suck to wiggle up out of there. So I don't want to have to do it again. I'm hoping for a one and done and fixing my misfire when I do this also. But let's roll on it and see what we can do. So as you can see, we have that rib nice and smoothed out. I'm going to take some sandpaper and just kind of smooth that a little bit more, and then we'll get to drilling holes. I've sanded it down. She's all smooth now, and what we're going to do is just kind of hold this up here where we want it, like right around there. You see it'll clear that rib on the bottom, clear that rib on the top, give us plenty of space to bolt in right there, and then give us plenty of space right there to seal around it. So right around here, if I can mark it. Yep, I got a little mark right there. I'm going to drill a 1/4-inch hole, and then we're going to slowly upsize it to whatever size that O-ring just barely snaps into. And there we have it. It ended up being a 15-30 seconds. We started out at a 1/4-inch and stepped it up, I think every other drill bit. It was a slow process, but I did not want to crack this plastic intake, so I went as slow as possible. And when we got up to a 15-30 seconds, you can see I took the O-ring off. I had to take a pick because that O-ring is tight. But now you get it in there and it just snaps right cleanly into place, right up against that intake how we wanted to. And then I got this positioned left, right, how I wanted it, and took a pin, like a small pin drill bit, and drilled a pilot hole for the bolt that I want to go through it. So now what we're going to do is just kind of clean this up, blow some air through there, knock out whatever shavings and stuff happen to go into the intake, and take some RTV up to the house and let it get warmed up because I stored it down here in like 20-degree weather all winter long, so it's frozen solid. And once my RTV gets nice and warmed up, I'm going to dab some around this edge here and pop that in there like so, get it nice and sealed, and then before I put this intake on the truck, I'm going to pop a self-tapper in there and just kind of seal that the rest of the way up, make sure we have absolutely no leaks whatsoever. So there you have it, a 15, whatever I said a second ago, drill bit. I already forgot. So back to the install, I guess. Came home that night and sealed it with some RTV. The RTV sealed it up good. That thing is on there solid. I do not think for a second we're going to have any vacuum leak out of there. So let me get this thing dropped down in there. Tighten these 6 bolts down on each, or tighten these 6 bolts down, 3 on each side. Those are, once again, still going to be an 8mm. Thank you, Ford. And we'll see how she looks just kind of sitting in there. Got our intake in, most of the way snugged down, and we're getting ready to take it right back out because I learned that there is absolutely no way that you can get your upper injectors, your PFI injectors, to go on with the intake in the truck. So we're going to pop those 6 bolts back loose and kind of wiggle the intake up just enough to drop the injectors where they need to go, and then we'll set everything back down and get everything torqued to spec. Real quick though, I want you guys to look at the tools I'm using. That's a 1/4 inch ratchet. I am not using anything bigger than a 1/4 inch ratchet. That is a plastic intake. You do not need to use any heavy tools. Don't come at this thing with an impact because you're going to break stuff. But 1/4 inch ratchet, that's all you're going to need to do this swap. I used an adjustable wrench, some pliers to get that injector up out, and other than that, super easy. Okay, I have my PFI injectors, my upper set of injectors. They are back in. Everything is tightened down. This is not going anywhere. Now, the Boss 302 intake has these 2 little nipples on it. I'm going to need to go take a razor blade and cut those off and put my throttle body back on. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and get my fuel lines popped back on and then find out exactly where all my vacuum lines need to run. So let me do a little bit of watching a few of my friends' videos that they've sent me to get you guys a definite answer on exactly where to run all of your vacuum lines, because the stock intake has all of your stuff down here hanging out. The Boss intake has 2 prongs this side, 1 prong this side, and nothing underneath. So we'll figure out where we need to get all of those run. I'm going to shorten the length for these, run them back into here and there like they need to be run, and then clean that PCV filter too while I'm at it. I'll clean that valve. And then on this side, the PCV that comes out right there and goes into my intake, I'm going to build a custom catch can mount that is going to mount on the airbox probably, and hold an old catch can that used to be over here that I didn't like the look of very much, but it's going to hold it over here down low so you can't really see it. And I'm going to have a secondary catch can on this side of the truck. So let's get to work. Okay, so it's been a while. It's just taken me a little bit of time to find hoses that fit everything because I really didn't want to run back into town. I've been laying on that all day. So for this catch can over here, I shortened this hose and just stuck the stock end back on it. Left this hose long, made sure there's no kinks in it. It lays right down in there along my heater hose fine. For this upper port right here, I'm using a 3/8 inch hose, and it goes into your purge valve right there. Okay, for your bottom port here, I had to use 2 clamps. This is the hose that took me a long time because I didn't have one exactly the right size. So I had to go oversize and then 2 clamps to really seat it on there. I'm going to get the right hose while I'm out and about tonight, and then I'll have it swapped over tomorrow. But run this bigger hose up here to where it comes out of this little can right here. Leave this connection here, and then on the other side of it, I just cut it off, stuck that hose on there. And Last connection I had to make was right here where your little gray connector is. The bottom one just gets plugged off, and the top one will go into my intake tube once I put my intake on. That is your vacuum. Now, once I get everything put back together, I just took a screwdriver and put on each of those and smacked the back of the screwdriver with a hammer and just chopped them off flush so that the throttle body can seat up. So I'm going to put my throttle body with the spacer on and then get my intake sat on. And then I'll show you guys how I'm going to use this hose here and a couple clamps here to rig up that hole right there that goes into the back of my intake as a secondary catch can on this side of the engine, the clean side. If it turns out to be too much of a headache, I'm just going to run that piece of hose directly from there to my intake. It's not going to hurt anything. I would just love to have a second catch can just for peace of mind. You don't need one by any means. But let's get this throttle body on, and then what people say is the most painful part of the process here, getting that intake boot to line up with your new height of your intake and then go over. So let's get after it. And we are done for this evening. So everyone was right. Cutting that boot absolutely sucks. Massive pain. But I got it on there kind of halfway. I cut the boot wrong. That's totally on me. I'm going to try to pick up a new boot somewhere local, maybe tonight, and hopefully I can get it on the truck tomorrow while I'm messing around out here. But other than that, it shouldn't affect performance if I take the truck out tonight, because it is on there. I mean, the clamps are tight, everything seals. It's just I have a little bit of lip right there where that band is not holding the intake boot up onto the engine, or up onto the throttle body. This line here is the line that I was going to have my catch can run into, but I have spent so much time today. I'm tired. I just want to get the tune logged in and drive this thing, so I run it direct. I'm going to put the catch can in at a later date. And this hose here is the one that goes back to your gray piece that you blocked off underneath. It just connects right into your intake there. Cold air intake is back on, and we have all of our connections that we are supposed to have hooked back up. So I'm going to reconnect the battery, hop in the truck, and put the new tune for the Boss intake in the truck, and then I'll get you guys a video of the first start. This thing's going to sound rowdy because it's trying to build fuel pressure and everything else. I'm thinking it's going to. If it's anything like the last time, it's going to. So we'll see. Y'all saw that first start. She starts, idles fine, sounds perfect, has that light tap of a 5.0, but there's no knocking, nothing like that people complain about. Oh, I just noticed I could have left that little peg on there. Oh well. I'm going to, whoa. Oh, I'm good on coolant. Okay. Just the way that coolant reservoir sets is weird. I'm going to throw the hood down and go up, get cleaned up, and wait for the girlfriend to get off work. And then this thing is going to hit the road. We're going to take it out, rip around on it a little bit, see what changes, how it feels different. Man, look at the condensation I blew out of my exhaust. The straight pipes on this thing just condensate really bad. It's not really a straight pipe. It's got a muffler on it, but it condensates really bad. But I will update you guys. I'm going to film tomorrow me cutting and replacing that boot if I can get one. But I'll update you guys and let you guys know how, yeah, that's not coming off. Let you guys know how it runs, see if the misfire's fixed. So we'll take it out tonight. As far as today, though, we're done with it. We had the truck out last night. I drove it for, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 hours, just out driving around, messing around with it. Did a couple pulls, ripped on it kind of hard. It runs. It certified ripper, especially after like 3,000 RPM when that power band really starts to kick in on that Boss intake. It just takes off. Super happy with the way it runs, but insert like this weird sound I'm hearing out of the back of the intake right now. Doesn't sound good. Rattles quite a lot. You can hear it from inside, outside the truck. If I put the truck in park, or if I have the hood up and I rev on it, it doesn't do that sound. So I don't think it's anything to do with like the actual engine itself. I think it's just something rattling against something in there. So we're gonna open her up today, climb around on the back of that intake and see what it is. I think it's just like the ends of those connections that plug into your IMRCs and stuff that I just left kind of dangle back there. I think like at higher RPMs, those are vibrating against something back there, just making a racket. But we're gonna see. I'm gonna pop the hood, climb up on top of the engine, wiggle everything around until I can find something loose. And then I'll zip tie it up tight and we'll go from there and see. But as of now, it's not causing any performance issues. It runs amazing. It just sounds like it's gonna blow apart. Okay, so I had one loose wire back there that I did not zip tie up. I zip tied that up, but I don't think that's the result of the noise. I think it's this, where I cut my intake boot and everything yesterday. I think I'm going to try to find a ram air setup for this truck. I'll have to mount my grenade somewhere else, but so be it. I can find anywhere else to do that. I think I'm going to find a ram air setup that comes out and goes down and then mounts behind here just for a little bit more performance. And also the look of having an open engine bay when eventually that battery gets moved to the bed. This side will be all open too, and it will look really, really clean in here, I think. So until I find a ram air setup that I like, this is going to do. This little piece of tube that I put in here stops this intake from thumping up and down, which it was doing a lot of. And down here, you're not going to be able to see it, but underneath that corner, I have another piece of tube for the air box to be kind of canted too, so it holds it. Everything in here is now solid, doesn't move. And if you look at my hood, you can see a smudge mark, which will be a result of this piece of the intake coming up and bumping my hood. I think that was the noise I was hearing last night. So I'm going to close the truck up and go clean the garage a little bit today. But I'll drive the truck tonight and update you guys in the morning with how it sounds and a overall kind of end result of the video. Apparently we're back to freezing cold weather because it's chilly out here this morning. But the popping noise that I've been hearing under acceleration was not my intake that I did yesterday. It wasn't any connections on the back of the intake. As it turns out, I either pinched or broke or just had a bad one from the factory, and the Teflon seal on the bottom of my new fuel injectors aren't sealing on some of them. I don't know which ones, and that's what I'm down here to find out today. There's a little ring of Teflon that goes around the bottom lip of the injector that seals it to the head, and that popping sound that I'm hearing is compression slipping past the injector. That's bad. And I'm really hoping I did not damage the aluminum head with the compression slipping up past it. I don't think I did. I think I just need to pop a new injector in and go. But you're not supposed to reuse those Teflon seals. So if I pull a side of injectors out, there's 4 injectors. I have to replace 4 injectors, or I'm supposed to. I'm hoping with these being so new that if there's just one bad, I can pull out that bank, replace that 1 injector, and the other 3 will still be fine to put back in the truck. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try figuring out which one is bad right now with a borescope, and then overnight myself some injectors from Rock Auto. So that's the plan. I know what the noise is now. Other than that, the swap is perfect. The truck runs amazing. I don't notice any performance like inhibitors with the noise that it's making. A couple guys said, yeah, it is losing a little bit of compression, so it's not running top notch, which is kind of scary with how this thing acts. It's an animal when you stomp into it after 3,000 RPM. And that intake won't be in there any longer. I ordered last night. There's a guy on Facebook named Octavio Reyes, something like that. He's in a lot of the high performance 5-liter groups. A lot of guys swear by him. And I went ahead and ordered his ram air kit for the Boss 302 manifold swap. So that intake is going to come out, and my new intake is going to come in somewhere right there in the front bumper area. So what started as I'm just going to throw a borescope under the intake manifold yesterday and check out what's happening under there to see if I can find any carbon tracking on a injector. Turned into the borescope was dead and I didn't have batteries, which turned into me trying to shove my phone under the intake manifold and take pictures with the flash one to see what I could see, and that didn't work either. So it turned into, oh, it's only a 5-minute job, let me just pop the intake manifold back off. So that's what I did. I pulled the intake manifold back off, and I pulled the passenger side fuel rail out first with all the lower injectors out first, and none of those looked bad. All the Teflon seals, they tell you not to reuse those Teflon seals. All those Teflon seals were still really malleable and you could still pinch them and kind of mold them. So I just pinched them really good, let them warm up in my hand, and got them down to size. And they popped back in super easy. And then I moved on to the passenger side. When I pulled the passenger side fuel rail out, that was cylinder number 5. There should be a Teflon kind of, you know, you saw the Teflon spacer, washer, whatever you call them, Teflon ring on there. There should be Teflon on that, and there's not. It melted, disintegrated, something, I don't know. I think what happened was, this is the cylinder that I had trouble getting the injector out of, if you remember in the video. So I think what happened was there was corrosion in that bore, and when I pushed this new one in, that corrosion slid that Teflon up the injector up into this area, and the heat slipping past just melted it the rest of the way, and it was no more. So the carbon tracking is all over the bottom of the injector, but it wasn't slipping past these rings yet to get up to the top part of the injector, right up here, right there. So I had an injector that I had bought recently to put in cylinder 4 to see if that fixed my misfire, and it didn't, so I bought 8 new ones, which were these ones from GB Remanufacturing, and I swapped all of those in. So I had that new-ish one with not very many miles on it at all, still sitting on the shelf, and I took a wire brush, cleaned up the end of it, and I made sure that Teflon seal was still malleable, which it was, and I stuck that injector back in this one's place. And we had the truck out last night. We drove it for probably 5 hours around last night, just all over the place, running errands, going and getting powder coat, all kinds of stuff. And it is a ripper. It runs perfect, no knocks, no weird noises whatsoever. So it's 100% now. I feel confident taking it to Fitzgerald's. Now I'm going to start filming as soon as it stops snowing, getting the truck ready for Fitzgerald's and start on that vlog. Hopefully it's soon. I have 10 days, 12 days somewhere on there to get this truck ready for FP, and it is not even close to being ready. So that is the source of that knocking sound. If you are having that knock come from your truck, Teflon seals. That's where we're sitting at now. Truck's fixed. Truck runs amazing. No weird noises. And that's your Boss 302 manifold swap and side job of DI injectors. Hope y'all enjoyed that.